And let's see where we are. I think everybody's joining. Hello, everybody. Hello and welcome to the Daily Antidote of Song as we celebrate the month of January, new friends, new year, and of course, 1,004 days. Thank you, Carolyn and Boise, for reminding us our count for the day. I was just saying that our count actually this entire month is the same day as the day of the month. We get that for the next 31 days. So we should all hold on to that because we can all remember for the first time. Including me. All right. I want to say hello to everybody out there on Facebook Live. Hello. Please help me wave hello to them. Thanks, gang, for joining us today. We're so glad you're with us again. And welcome to the Daily Antidote Song, which is brought to you by Carpe Diem Arts. I'm Jo Rossi. I'm the director of the program. And we've got Aaron Geyer here today, one of my assistants who is amazing, running the tech from Brooklyn, New York. Thank you, Aaron, so much for being here. And our new friend for the day, coming in from Bloomington, Indiana. Let's say hello to Angela Gabriel. And we'll come back to you in a minute, Angela, and chat and sing. Let's see who's here today. I see Phil and the gang in Newcastle, UK. So that's Phil and Pauline and probably William somewhere in the background. And it's nice to see all two of you plus. And hello to Arlene in Berkeley, California, and Kathy in Virginia. Great to see your smile. Hi, Bob and Christiana, reminding us that it is day, wait a minute. It is day 1004. Nice job. Thanks, Christiana. Good to see both of you. And Caroline with, that's that word from Harry Potter that I can never pronounce, so I'm not going to try. Fred Stolnitz, nice to see you today, coming in from Silver Spring, Maryland. And Dory and Ollie, hello, nice to see you today. Hi to Mabel in a bear in a sweater, nice to see you coming in from Massachusetts. And if Bob is there, I can't see because you're blocked by my number thing. Hello to Kathleen in Albuquerque, glad you're here today. Hi, Deborah in Kentucky. Hello, Caroline in DC. Susan in Seattle. Luda in Victoria, reminding us all to love one another. Hello to Ruth in Birmingham, UK. Kathy on the stolen Arapaho land, reminding us to think about the land on which we stand. Thank you, Kathy. Hello to Dali in Maryland. Hoda in British Columbia, also reminding us of the land on which we stand. Thanks, Hoda. Kevin in DC with the golden flute. Hello. Becky in Vancouver. Hello. Sue Sean in Massachusetts. Hello. Sheila in Florida. Hello. Hi, Cricket in Maryland. Nice to see you. Aloysius in Westford, Mass. Hello. Susan in Ohio. Hello. Bob in Albany. Hello. Bronwyn in Victoria. Glad you're here today. Jim in New York City. Hello. Dan Walker in Vienna, Virginia. Nice to see you. Where's your hat? Hindi in Toronto. Sarah in Texas. Two curly tops. I see Alice May and Willard today. Hello, guys. Nice to have you with us today. Happy January. Hello to Nancy's Irish Cow in Washington State. Harriet in Chicago. Great to see you, Harriet. Carol in Connecticut, the maker of the fabulous crossword puzzle and word search. In case you haven't found that yet, check out our Facebook Live page or our email because Lord knows you might be in the crossword or the word search. So you gotta check it out. Busy Graham, Executive Director of Carpe Diem Arts. Everybody please give it up for Busy Graham, who is looking, hey, Busy, you got my red memo today. Amanda and Miles in Michigan, nice to see both of you, or at least one of you and a half. Cliff in Vermont with Lynn somewhere in the background. Hey, Ann Wright, nice to see you today, coming in from Sandy Spring, Maryland, and I'm glad you're here. It's nice to have you back. Kate in Charlottesville, hello. Gary and Christy in Mass, Jane in Texas, Bob in Mass, Linda on Orcas Island, hello, nice to see your smile. Hello to Marjorie, maybe new to us today, maybe not. I'm glad you're here. Hi, Mommy in New Jersey. And Bronwyn in Victoria, Sandy in Western North Carolina, Julie Alexander coming in from Ontario, and Karen in Oregon. Dick and Kathy are in the room from Victoria. Nice to see both of you, or at least see that you're here, probably in your pajamas. Hello to, who's that? Sarah Purtle, hello. And folks off video, Shari and CY, Kat and Diane Weinstein in Puerto Rico, hello. Linda Rose, Shelley, and Lynn in Connecticut, and I think I got everybody except people are still coming in. Hello to Karen Lowe and whoever else just popped in, Rosalie, Martha in Oregon. Everybody take a deep breath. Let's go. You're all popping in faster than I can actually keep up. All right, another deep breath because I just talked through that one. Thank you so much. So I'm super excited today to have a new song leader. Very clear when you look at her website and when you chat with her for 2 minutes that she's like a Daily Antidote lifer. It's how we missed singing with her in the first 1,000 days is completely ununderstandable. I'm going to ask Angela Gabriel to go ahead and open up and say hello. We're nice to have you, Angela.
Hi, I'm so glad to be here. It's just really, I'm covered in truth bumps seeing all these beautiful faces.
Thank you so much. We're so glad to have you here. I am wondering if you would be willing to maybe just say a sentence about the song you're going to sing and then teach us the chorus and sing with us, and then we'll chat when you're done singing.
Sure. So I went through some pretty major changes. I know we all dealt with a lot of uncertainty over the last few years, and this year was huge. I left the home in Santa Fe where I'd been for 20 years, and I came here to a place where I didn't know anybody. I was terribly brokenhearted, and I was I was dealing with a lot of sadness, a lot of grief, and I was kind of like going through the belly of the dragon. And these words, this Wendell Berry poem, I discovered these words about a month ago, and they've been just kind of bouncing around inside me, and I started singing them, really finding the truth of them. The poem is, to go in the dark with a light is to know the light. To know the dark, go without sight, and find that the dark too blooms and sings, and is traveled by dark feet and dark wings. And I started thinking about, what does that even really mean to me? Because, we're kind of programmed to like, go for the light, bring the light in. And I thought, I know this. I know this feeling of being in the dark. And going into this place of grief, of sadness, I've had probably the most creatively prolific year of my life. These gems that have come out of just being with myself in this place, and then the gifts that came because I was willing to go into that place have been tremendous, and I'll be reaping them, I'm sure, for the rest of my life. And so I started singing these words, and it kind of turned into a song that is a little bit different from most of the songs. Most of the songs that I write are intended for community singing purposes. And so they're usually not accompanied by an instrument. I teach them by call and response. And, and this is a little bit more of like a songy song. So it kind of spans the bridge between the community singing songs and kind of a song with verses and a bridge and things like that. So I see the poem is there in the chat, and of course, I tweaked the words just a little bit for it to fit into the song space. And so I'll sing the song for you once. It's pretty easy to learn, I think. And then we'll pull it apart and learn it. To go in the dark with a light is to know the light. To know the dark, go dark, go dark. To go in the dark with a light is to know the light. To know the dark, go dark, go dark, go without sight. And find that the darkness too blossoms and sings and is traveled by dark feet and dark wings. So I'll stop there and teach you the chorus, and then I can go back. That is a poem by Wendell Berry. The chorus is actually a different poem. It's a passage from a poem called The Old Astrologer from, I should know this, sometime in 1800s by a poet named Sarah Williams. So, to go in the dark with a light, to go in the dark with a light, is to know the light, is to know the light. And we do those same notes, but to know the dark, go dark, go dark. So let's try that together. To go in the dark with a light is to know the light. To know the dark, go dark, go dark. Then we do it again. to go in the dark with a light. Now I like to go high and come low for this next line. Is to know the light, but you can do it the same way that we did it if you want. Is to know the light, to know the dark, go dark, go dark, go without sight, and find that the darkness too blossoms and sings. So there's a little bit of change in that line, blossoms and sings. So, and find that the darkness too blossoms and sings. And then we come down, for music theory people, we come down in a chromatic scale. From here, and is traveled by dark feet. So we sing blossoms and sings, and is traveled by dark feet. So I picture like kind of going down into the darkness with little steps. And find that the darkness too blossoms and sings, and is traveled by dark feet and dark wings. The bridge of this song is the other poem. Though my soul may set in darkness, it will rise in perfect light. I have loved the stars too fondly to be fearful of the night. And so it sounds like this. Though my soul may set in darkness, it will rise in perfect light. I have loved the stars too fondly to be fearful of the night. And then we go back to go in the dark with the light. So I just want to point out one thing about these lyrics, because I had to really think about this. Like, you know, all these songs about the light. But he says, Wendell Berry in his poem, he says, to go in the dark with a light is to know the light. To know the dark, go without sight. Go totally dark. You know, I think that maybe a lot of you can relate, you know, in my life when I go into a place that feels dark, I would scramble like, I got to get out of here, got to get to the light. And that's what would create anxiety. But if I just stay in the dark, I sit in the dark, and I just be in that feeling, hold that grief, hold whatever it is that I'm feeling, inevitably I come out better for it without the anxiety. So I think that's what he's saying. You know, to go in the dark with a light is to know the light. We know the light. We've got tons of songs that honor the light and remind us of that. But I also think that there's a little bit of this attitude that somehow think happy thoughts, you know, rather than just be okay with our sadness and know that it's not going to last forever. This is how we feel right now, and recognize that it's in that darkness that most of our creative jewels are discovered. So let's do the whole thing, the whole song. Here we go. To go in the dark with a light is to know the light, but to know the dark, go dark, go dark. To go in the dark with a light is to know the light, but to know the dark, go dark, go without sight, and find that the darkness too blossoms and sings, and is traveled by dark feet and dark wings. Though my soul may set in darkness, it will rise in perfect light. I have loved the stars too fondly to be fearful of the night. To go in the dark with a light is to know the light, but to know the dark, go dark, go dark. To go in the dark with a light, is to know the light, But to truly know the dark, go dark, go dark, go without sight, and find that the darkness too blossoms and sings and is traveled by dark feet and dark wings.
Wow.
Loved
Thank you
seeing
so
all of you
much.
singing with me. Oh, that was great. I got a little choked up there. I had to keep going.
You
Thank
did
you.
an awesome job of getting choked up and keeping going. That was really cool. I caught that and I loved it. So, that is so immensely beautiful and so beautifully timed. Not just, I mean, so, right, we're in the shortest day season right now. And we've talked about this in this room before, like how the sort of tendency culturally is to say, like, oh, the days are so short, it's dark so much, we're going to all be depressed, and to sort of focus on that aspect of it. And a lot of times, what we talk about in here is focus on the, you know, the sitting quietly with yourself and, the snuggling in and the living differently. And of course, it ties into the pandemic. And as you were just talking right now about the notion of, the sadness that might come with, you're sitting in the darkness, thinking about your sadness or processing your sadness. I kept thinking of confusion, right? Because that's kind of what the pandemic was. It was like a sudden darkness that was filled with confusion, and we were forced to sit and process that confusion. Whereas in any other circumstance, we might have gotten ourselves good and distracted as quickly as possible, which isn't to say that we didn't also distract ourselves with Duolingo and the Daily Antidote of Song, whatever else. Although the daily wasn't really a distraction, the daily was actually processing that darkness in a different way. But I so loved everything that you were just singing about. And you mentioned that you moved and that you've gone through change. Do you want to talk any more about sort of the transition of dark and the sitting in the dark period that you had?
Sure. Yeah, I lived in Santa Fe, New Mexico for 20 years, and loved my life there. I was really well established as a teacher and a performer. Was so, I had groups of singers dealing with Parkinson's and other movement disorders. I sang weekly at the interfaith shelter for people living in homelessness, um, and then had my weekly community singing circle, and so many ways that I was fed. And then, of course, COVID shut all that down. And so I was in that uncertainty and that place of confusion with everybody else. And then coming out of that, I dealt with I was going through quite a few major health issues, had a lot of surgeries, and both before, during, and after COVID. And then it was all kind of topped off with a pretty tremendous heartbreak and betrayal of my partner for 15 years. And he and I were both performers, and Santa Fe's a small town, and I just kept getting pulled back into that orbit, and I just knew I needed to go somewhere. I didn't know where I was going to go. I didn't know a single person in Bloomington, Indiana. I don't have family here, but I thought, I got to find a place that I can afford that's like the hippest little town east of the Mississippi, and get myself to a place where I can take care of myself. I feel like this has been the single greatest act of self-care I've ever done, even though it was terrifying. And I found myself many, many times just on my knees crying, going, what did I do? What did I do? What did I do? I left everything behind. I couldn't believe it. But at the same time, as soon as I opened myself up to, like, okay, it's almost like going into a cocoon and becoming nothing so that you can come out and become fully myself. And I've found incredible community here. I mean, the home where I'm singing to you from is a home of a brand new friend who's letting me and my little doggy stay here with her, um, and I've made connections that I already know are going to last the rest of my life, And so by being willing to go into that place of darkness and that unknown, that place of confusion, has given me so many gifts that I never would have known were there, And I finally, I didn't know where I was going to live. I didn't have a place to go. And finally, just this past Thursday, got a house. Woohoo! So I'll be moving into a place of my own in the next couple weeks. And I'm just allowing myself to take these moments that come and take this creative inspiration, like, for example, being able to share this song with all of you, and to recognize that it wasn't just my medicine, it can be everybody's medicine. And so whenever we go into the dark alone, we're going in universally as well, because what we bring out of it and share is something that can help everybody in our experience of this.
Thank you so much, Angela. That was beautiful. And I think actually what I was thinking when you were talking about that is, you did just give all of us the gift of this song, but you also commented on the fact that you were almost brought to tears, or you got choked up from seeing everyone singing along with you. And there's that two-way street thing that happens, right? Like, we're all moving in and out of the dark and in and out of the light and supporting each other. And so actually, for like a more literal support, I'm shouting out anybody out there in the Bloomington, Indiana area. Look, you have a brand new friend who just moved into town. So I hope you'll find her. And Angela and I already talked about the fact that I'm going to hook her up with all the folks I know who sing there. And I'm wishing you lots of luck on this part of your journey. It sounds like it's a great adventure, no matter what it is that took it to happen, right? Here's the place where you reside right now is just the beginning of a whole new chapter. So it's very beautiful. Thank you so much. I did think when I was reading about you, how you were such a great fit for this program, partially because of the virtual Parkinson's programming that you're doing. And I thought, wow, it's just incredible. What we're all doing is a similar, well, not all of us, I guess, but a lot of us are doing is this similar sort of figuring out ways to reach out and touch other people and, be touched back. And but I do want to read one line from your bio, because I couldn't say this any better than this. So this is Angela's words. My mission in life is to facilitate expressive, creative, musical, and vocal experiences, and to encourage folks to replace judgment with curiosity and open themselves to their unique creative flow. So that is how I knew that she was made for us. And in fact, that we were made for her, right? So thank you so much, Angela. Super beautiful. And thanks for all that work you're doing out there in the world. You mentioned a doggy. So we had a little doggy show and tell, because all three of us are sitting next to our doggies. That's Erin and Angela and I. So there's Angela's doggy.
Peanut.
There's Erin's doggy. Oh. All right, I'm gonna, Erin, are we all spotlighted? Oh, good. I'm gonna also show, here's a little Findus doggy. Hey, Findus, can you say hello? Look. Findus is like, I'm sleeping right now. I'm sleeping.
And this is Pogo.
Yay. So, we've talked about actually having, thank you, Erin. Hi, Pogo. We've talked about having like the show and tell animal day or Stuffy's day in here. And we've kind of done a little bit of it during some of our cocktail parties or our tea parties. But anybody who wants to pull up their animal in this next round of singing, whether it's a live, oh yeah, Dory's like, look, I already have my animal. He showed up. There's Ollie. Yeah, feel free to pull your animals up, and we'll focus on the screens that have animals in them when we're singing through this next part. So if we couldn't make Angela cry all in full by our singing faces, maybe she'll cry from all of our beautiful animals. So Angela, how would you feel about singing through once more? Do you have anything else you want to say about stuff you have coming up before we sing?
I just want to say that, before we started, we had the opportunity to all share our dogs and talk about these beautiful rescue animals that we have, and how I know from the behavior that Peanut had when I first got her, she knows the dark. She was afraid of everything. She was afraid to walk through a door. She was afraid to eat. I've had her almost 7 years, and to this day, if someone raises up a piece of newspaper, she cowers and tries to make herself as small as she can. And over these years that I've had her, I've had the opportunity to witness her bloom into the most beautiful, sweet, loving, caregiving creature that I could ever have asked for to be a partner on this journey into this darkness that I've gone. Um, and it's just such a beautiful testimony of the power of love. Oh, look at them all. And how love changes us, you know? Here we are, trying to, as humans, we try so hard to hide our feelings, and we don't really allow ourselves to be quite as an open book as our dogs are. But boy, you watch their behavior and it's so obvious that, oh, look at the cow. It's so obvious that all of us are we're all rescues. And we all need love. So
Beautiful, Angela. Thank you. So I love that you said that earlier. We're all rescues. And I thought that was actually just a really beautiful way of thinking about it, right? Think of all of the times that we have relied on other folks to rescue us, or, found communities we didn't know existed, like the Daily Antidote of Song, as a place that can rescue us, hold us up in some way. I absolutely love that. All these animals are great, aren't they? That cow, by the way, sings along every day, and on good days you can see him smiling.
wow.
Um, so how would you feel about singing, oh, look at Kirsten's sleeping puppy. Oh, and Sandy's, hello. Oh, look at all these beauties. Oh, I love this. So, all right, Angela, how would you feel about singing it once more so we can sort of revel in that darkness once more?
Absolutely. Yes.
Thank you.
Here we go. To go in the dark with the light is to know the light. To know the dark, go dark, go dark. To go in the dark with the light is to know the light. But to know the dark, go dark, go dark, go without sight. And find that the darkness too blossoms and sings and is traveled by dark feet and dark wings. Though my soul may set in darkness, it will rise in perfect light. I have loved the stars too fondly to be fearful of the night. To go in the dark with the light is to know the light. But to know the dark, go dark, go dark. To go in the dark with the light, the dark with the light, is to know the light, to know the light. But to truly know the dark, go dark, go dark, go without sight. And find that the darkness too blossoms and sings and is traveled by dark feet and dark wings.
Thank you so much, Angela. Let's please all give it up for Angela for taking us on a really exquisite journey today. And I'm not sure if you can see on your screen, Angela, we just had Darla, who is actually a therapy dog, singing along with us, and lots of other animals. And what I was super loving about that was there's a few new people in the room today, and they caught right on. So welcome to the Daily Antidote of Song. Y'all fit right into. Thank you so much. Angela, we really can't wait to sing with you again. And so Angela and I were crafting some little schemes behind the scenes of things we'll do next. And we can't wait to have you back, Angela. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I'm so honored to be here. Thank you.
Let's see. I can't think of any announcements that I should have maybe thought of before. So I can say, don't forget January 21, we'll have our monthly community sing. So make sure you stick around for that, or don't stick around because it's actually, 20 some odd days away. But oh, my math, it's more like 15 days away. Never mind. Okay, come back for the January 21 community sing. And definitely keep coming all month long. We're singing with new folks all month long. And the great thing about new folks is that then they become good old regulars in the months after that. So please do join us and meet all of our new folks as they come into our community. And so if you haven't already seen it, Carol in Connecticut, who made our ridiculously amazing spreadsheet, has also now made a ridiculously amazing crossword puzzle and a word search. And all I can say is you got to do them to figure out who's in them. So yeah, we're going to post the answers. I think I said like Sunday or Monday. So make sure you get it in before then so you don't accidentally see the answers. And I can't remember if there was anything else. Erin, did I have anything else I needed to say? Well, okay, like, can you always, thank you, donate. And we're pleased to say that we made our match. So thanks to everybody who donated. We'll make some more announcements about that as we start tabulating things moving forward. But thanks everybody. There was a lot of really generous giving, and it is 1,000% what's going to keep, get it 1,000% because of the 1,000 days, what's going to keep us going. So thank you everybody. I think we're ready for goodbyes, unless Erin, I'm sorry, did you think of anything that I didn't say? No. Okay. All right. I want to thank everybody again for being here. Let's all give it up one more time for Angela Gabriel, Bloomington, Indiana. Wishing you all the best in your journey forward and can't wait to see you again. And thanks to everybody out there on Facebook Live for joining us today. It's always great to see you. And of course, thanks to everybody in the room. Erin, thank you for being a genius on the tech, as well as a genius in so many other things. And Phil and the gang in Newcastle, UK, thank you. Arlene in Stormy Berkeley, thank you with your manatee, lovely. Kathy in Virginia, nice to have you with us today. Thanks for being here. Bye.